Hello and welcome to the Spokane County Spotlight. I'm Commissioner Mary Kuney and my guest today is Shelly O'Quinn, CEO of the Inland Northwest Community Foundation. Shelly, welcome to today's program.
Thank you, it's great to be here.
Shelly, could you tell us a little bit, for our viewers that are not familiar with the foundation, could you tell us a little bit about your mission?
Absolutely, thank you. The Inland Northwest Community Foundation is about transforming communities and changing lives in Eastern Washington and North Idaho. We work with our regional partners, with nonprofits, the business community, our United Ways and other foundations, and with our donors on the areas of greatest concern for our region. So whether it is working on poverty issues, addressing homelessness, educational attainment, we're focused on sustainable change. The foundation was started back in 1974 by a group of women that were involved in the Junior League that were inspired by the changes going on in our community because of the World's Fair. And they wanted to establish an organization that would continue focusing on our community and providing the opportunity for change moving forward and not just one point in time. And what started as a $15,000 contribution has grown today to almost $120 million in assets for our region. It is an incredible story and one that I am happy to share with you today.
Wow, that's an interesting history of the foundation. I didn't know. As a former Junior League member, it makes me very proud, so thank you. So can you give our audience an introduction about yourself and tell us what led you to the position of being CEO for the foundation?
Absolutely. I've spent a lot of time in this community. I actually worked at the foundation 11 years ago. I was a senior program officer, and I had spent a lot of time in nonprofit prior to going to the foundation. Both internationally, working for World Vision, and in our local community, working with Habitat for Humanity. And when I went to the foundation, served as a senior program officer, I was working on what became Priority Spokane, for those who are familiar with it, and was working closely with Rich Hadley, who was the CEO of Greater Spokane Incorporated at the time. And he recruited me over to GSI, and I spent 5 years working at GSI on workforce development and public policy. And then in 2012, had an opportunity to run for county commissioner. And it was a great opportunity, was elected, and then spent almost 5 years serving as a county commissioner. I loved my time as a commissioner, but when this opportunity to go back to the community foundation came open, I love the work of the foundation and the mission it has to serve and transform lives in our region. I knew that I wanted to go back to the foundation.
Thank you. So as I see myself as your replacement on the Board of County Commissioners. So as that, and being in the position, there's a lot of unique aspects to being a county commissioner. And how do you think that has helped you to then take over as the CEO?
I am so happy that I had the opportunity to work both at GSI and at the county before going back to the foundation. It's really given me a solid understanding of our community, and specifically as a commissioner, you know, and especially in our district, and I'll say ours because I'm still going to own the community that I live in still and love dearly. We have the unique privilege of serving 9 jurisdictions within Spokane County, and there are 13 total, the majority of them being rural. And being able to work with those rural communities provide me a very unique perspective of our region, because the challenges that we face, whether it's in Latah in South Spokane County, or whether it's in Republic, or whether it's down in Lewiston, are very different than the challenges that we face in our urban core in Coeur d'Alene and Spokane County. And so serving as that commissioner really gave me an opportunity to understand the challenges both rural and urban within our region. And now I work for a foundation that serves 20 counties. We have 20 counties in 10 in Eastern Washington, 10 in North Idaho. And with the exception of that Spokane County, Kuney County core, the rest of the region is rural. And so to bring that perspective and to have had an opportunity to get to know the players. And I'll also say it gave me an appreciation and understanding of what local government can and cannot do. And I think too often we think that government is going to solve our problems, and it can't. And as a community, we have the opportunity to come together, and that's where the foundation can play a role. We have an opportunity to come together to solve some of our region's most pressing problems.
No, and I feel as a community volunteer, it's such a great partnership because, you know, they each do different functions. And so the Community Foundation is a great partnership for us on the government side.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Absolutely.
So we do have 2 videos highlighting the programs that the foundation has funded in the past. This first video is about the work you've done to help develop rural communities. So let's take a look at that now.
La Crosse as a community is over 100 years old, and we've been part of this area for a long time.
La Crosse Community Pride works to develop economic development to provide the essential services that we need.
We have been without a store for 2 years. We needed a store so people would have a place to come and get groceries.
The funds received by the Inland Northwest Community Foundation were vital in helping us fund all of the upgrades in this facility, things like carpet, flooring. We had to redo the entire electrical system. So those funds were vital in helping us achieve our goal.
To have a community center like this, that helps people keep roots here. That keeps the school system strong. It all is tied together.
The funds that we got from Inland Northwest Community Foundation were just such an important part of making this dream possible for our community. It meant the world, and we are just so very grateful.
Obviously, they've done some great work for communities in the 9th District and in Eastern Washington in general. Sometimes a hand up makes a big difference.
That contribution helped get the momentum going, helped us prove that La Crosse is the little town that could and did and will be in the future continuing to grow.
That's a great overview of just one of the ways the foundation is driving community transformation. Can you talk about items that you fund?
Absolutely. So as you saw in the video, we do invest in our rural communities. Economic opportunity is one of our impact areas, especially in the rural communities. We have a focus on economic development, understanding that if we want to help our rural communities survive and thrive, that we have to figure out how to create jobs for their young people to come back to after they complete their education. And so that is one of our focus areas. As a community foundation, we don't focus on one particular area. Private foundations can focus on the environment or focus maybe on youth development solely. As a community foundation, we get to support the areas that impact our community. So we have 5 impact areas, economic opportunity being one, arts and culture, quality of life, which encompasses the environment and animal welfare, health and well-being, and education and youth development. We also distribute over $200,000 a year in scholarships to students in our region, and those scholarships have been set up by individuals in our community who want to ensure that students can thrive and come back and support our region.
Interesting, thank you very much. And so I think we have another video that we're going to take a look at that is funded by the foundation that focuses on STEM education in our community.
Gizmo is an experimental place where you can design and build and imagine things, and we have all the tools to do it.
We do K through grade, all different age groups, and all of them come with the same desire to learn to build.
You can learn to weld, do all these other things, power sand, even just like that trailer back there's all the different bikes you can learn to put a bike together and take a bike apart. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
Kids who are sitting in classrooms and gaining knowledge often don't understand what that knowledge is about. And then they come here and they have a way to apply it. And they leave totally taking ownership of what they're learning. And that is amazing to watch.
I'm definitely thankful because so far I think this is the best experiences I've had at camp with all my other friends.
Because of Inland Northwest Community Foundation believing in us in the beginning, before we were even a year old, they came in and they gave us a grant to buy equipment. With that support, we were able to grow our vision and support the ideas that we had come forward with to make the makerspace possible. It wouldn't have happened without them.
So Shelly, does the foundation provide these grants? How does the foundation provide these grants to our community? I'm sorry.
So as a community foundation, we have what makes us so powerful is that it's bringing folks together to build the foundation and to provide ongoing support for our region. And we started with one fund, as I mentioned earlier, and that was seeded with $15,000. And today we have over 500 funds that support our work. And we have individuals that choose to contribute to existing funds with small and or large contributions. We have folks that come in and set up their own funds. And those funds can support our community strategies, which is our competitive grant program that supports those impact areas I talked about. We have designated funds that can support specific nonprofits or specific fields of interest. We have nonprofit funds. We have over 100 nonprofits who have chosen to partner with us and hold their endowments with us, which support their ongoing operations for their organization. We have civic leadership funds that are those funds that are set up specifically to support research and initiatives within our community. Again, the power of a community foundation is that we can bring together the assets that may be little or a lot. I think some people think that they have to have millions of dollars to be able to support initiatives in our region, and they don't. They don't. They can make a $25 contribution to an existing fund. They can, I think our minimum is a $5,000 to set up their own fund to support communities. But that can actually be set up over a period of time. A family can choose to make a $1,000 investment a year to get to the minimum fund balance. I mean, there's so many, I'm getting technical on you right now, but so often people think that, oh, well, I don't have $1 million, I can't make a difference. And what tends to be celebrated in the news are those, $100 million contributions to a university or to a cause. But really the power of a community foundation is the fact that we can bring small and large contributions together to support the work that we are doing. Our typical grants, and we give out over $6 million a year in grants, and since our inception have given out over $65 million. Wow. It's impressive and it's incredible, yes, considering that all comes from our community. And what makes it so great, and again, the power of the foundation, is the fact that we bring all of that together and can pool that to give grants between $2,000 and $30,000, or when we have an initiative, we can actually give grants of up to $200,000, $300,000, or even $600,000. Some examples of some of our local initiatives: we supported Priority Spokane's educational attainment initiative several years ago, focused on increasing our on-time graduation rates. We have supported Priority Spokane's homeless project focused on student homelessness, and we're currently, our current initiative is in Coeur d'Alene supporting student reading and literacy programs.
With that, I think we have a short video highlighting the Opening Books, Opening Doors initiative in Coeur d'Alene. So can you provide us just a little brief intro? I think you've done some of that, but just a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. So the Coeur d'Alene initiative actually stemmed out of Coeur d'Alene's own visioning, 2030 visioning process. And they identified having students being able to be at reading level by third grade. And the key to third grade is that that's the point at which you move from learning to read to reading to learn, and it ensures a student's long-term success. And they said, we want 100% of our students reading at grade level by the end of third grade. And so we have a co-funded initiative with different partners who are funding a 3-year project in the Coeur d'Alene School District with the University of Idaho and others to ensure the success of these students.
Oh, interesting. Well, we'll get to watch that video now.
We can't just go into a community and build something and leave. So we've really been focused on trying to give back to the communities where we build. Co-funding is appealing to me, A, because I, again, saw what happened through the Foundation's work in Eastern Washington, And the second thing is some of these initiatives are significant, and it takes more people to be involved and for us to collectively to have a bigger impact than maybe we can do on our own. Like if we pool our resources together versus, maybe not tackling the project is in such a mighty way as we might be able to singly, I think it's a home run because, as they say, it takes a village to raise a child in this case. So I think the village is coming together to really help execute this plan. I know as a child, my parents read to me and I always enjoyed reading, and I just think it really does create opportunities for people when they know how to read and can read well.
So for those people that may be interested in starting or contributing to the foundation, you talked a little bit about that, and I want to just reiterate that I think it's great for people to know that if you have $25, you can make a difference. That is the power. Where would they find the information? Where would they go?
They are welcome to visit our website to learn more about us, www.inwcf.org. I will give you a note that our website will be completely changing on June 5th, which we'll talk about later. But they can find the information there and come back and visit us after June 5th to see what the new website looks like. After June 5th, we will also have a lot of stories on our website. So today we don't have time to actually dive deep into all of those individuals who have contributed to our organization and changed lives, and to talk about the different programs that have changed lives, but I would encourage your listeners to go and visit our website and read those stories on impact.
And I think those stories are going to be important because as people, look to contribute, sometimes people want to direct the money to a specific, area, whether it's education, youth, sports. I mean, as you've said, you have all these different funds that are helping so many different ways that I think it's good for our viewers to know that, they can direct that money to a certain topic.
Absolutely. It's individuals and families and businesses can come to the foundation and choose to establish their own fund to support a specific nonprofit, to support a specific cause, or as I mentioned with our civic leadership funds, to say, we want to partner with the foundation to address our region's most pressing challenges today. And they can support our work around research and around funding our local initiatives. So there's so many different opportunities based on the donors' interests and intent, and we can find opportunities to work with them, invest with them.
No, very good. So one of the unique aspects of the foundation is that you don't just serve Spokane community, you have a larger footprint that you talked about a little bit earlier. So with that large footprint must be challenges for your staff. How do you engage in the local communities when you talk about 20 counties that you're servicing?
Yeah, it is a large territory. So our 20 counties make up over 38,000 square miles and 1 million people. It is a large area, and we go from the Canadian border down to the the Oregon border, and then in Idaho down to the bottom of Idaho County. So to drive from one end of our region to the other can actually take you a full day.
Yes.
Just driving north and south. It's a very large territory. And so it's hard to get out into our communities, but we understand that if we're not in our communities, we can't know them. We cannot sit in Spokane and assume that we know what's going on in Idaho County or in Stevens County or Okanagan County. We can't assume that we know what's going on in our region from Spokane. Mm-hmm. And so we've actually, as a staff, we've divided up our 20 counties into mini regions, and we've assigned staff members to each region. And they go out into our communities and they work with local business leaders, with local government leaders, with our nonprofits, with our donors within those regions. And at the same time, it gives them they have an opportunity while working with them to really understand those communities. We participate in community visioning and priority projects. And while we can't be there every day, and we know that we're just starting this great work of reaching out into those communities deeper, we do understand that in order for us to know them, we have to be there. And if we want them to know who we are, then we have to be in their communities. We can't just come in and say, here, we're gonna fund X, Y, and Z. We want them to say, our community is challenged with this issue, and this is where we'd like you to help us. That's how we want to be able to fund in those communities. We've also made it a priority as a foundation, as a staff, to volunteer with one of our nonprofit partners every quarter. And so we have been to the Post Food Bank, we've been to Second Harvest. This past couple weeks, during April, we participated in Spokane Gives, and we went and partnered with the Women and Children's Free Restaurant and did a beautification project with them to did some spring cleaning so that and they could be ready for summer. And we feel it's important that we spend time with our nonprofits to understand the challenges that they face as organizations, but also to better understand the communities that they serve and the challenges that they face within those communities. So we're being very intentional about becoming involved in our region.
No, I think it's so important, as you know from your county commissioner days as well. I mean, that's the only way you get to know what's going on, is to be out there and be active and talking to the people. Right. So with your staff, do you have volunteers? Do you have a board? Those were a couple of questions I had.
We do. We could not do what we do without the volunteers that we have. We have a board of 13 that come from around the region. We do try to have geographic diversity within our board. So our board chair is from Pullman. And so a balance between Eastern Washington and North Idaho. We also have a lot of committees. Again, getting back to that, wanting to make sure we're funding projects in the communities that are important to those communities. We have developed grants committees that have people on them from those regions. So North Idaho, one of our largest funds was a $13 million contribution gift from Margaret Galbraith, who grew up in the Wallace area, and it was important to her that she give back to the communities that helped her family be so successful. And so, but she also didn't want anyone in Spokane making the decisions about what was important for North Idaho. And so we set up a North Idaho Partnership Council, and it's made up of individuals throughout North Idaho that make those decisions on how we fund in North Idaho. We have another group in Pullman. We have scholarship committees that review our scholarship applications, and it's really the work of all these fantastic people that help us be able to serve the large region that we serve.
So truly a community of volunteers.
Truly a community of volunteers.
I love it. So let's look at 2018 and beyond. And can you tell us kind of what some of the big projects are coming up for you?
We are so excited about where we are going. So we have spent the last 6 months really focused on making sure that we are serving our communities well, and that we are transitioning from what we do to a really important focus on why we do it. It's not just about managing 500 funds and assets of 120 million. That's part of what we do, but it's not why we do it. We are doing what we do because we want to change lives in this region, because we want to transform our communities. We want to bring our partners and our donors together to be able to make sustainable long-term change. So as part of that, we are rolling out a new name and a new brand coming on June 5th. So I cannot tell you what it is,
but
stay tuned. So I would encourage our viewers to read the newspaper on June 5th or check out our website. And I'm just giving you that sneak peek that that's coming. We also have had, we received a Murdoch grant to help support us as an organization in our capacity.
That's great.
It is important that in the work that we do, we're able to show our return on investment to not only our donors, but our community. And so the new Murdoch position will be focused on research and community impact, and we'll be using data to drive our decision making moving forward and really have an opportunity to understand what those priority areas are in our region.
So with that, you were talking about a new website coming then on June 5th, and having people, make sure that they go and take a look at that so they can really see, what you guys are doing and what's happening. I think that's going to be huge for the community, as you talked about with stories, that's going to be a big part of people then being able to look and really see what's going on. So in the last 30 seconds, 45 seconds, what would you like to talk about that we haven't talked about yet?
This work can't wait. What we're doing is important work, and we can't do it alone. What makes a community foundation so great and so important is that it really is bringing the community together to transform lives and to transform communities. And it's not one organization or one individual, but it's all of us combined that are working to make our part of the world a better place. And so if there's anything that I could leave you, it's let's do this together. Let's partner together to make sure that we are serving those in our region and making our world a better place.
Well, thank you very much for the discussion today. I've enjoyed it. I think our viewers have enjoyed it. So I think we're running out of time.
It's great to be here, though. It feels different sitting on the other side of the table. You're doing a phenomenal job as commissioner, and I love the fact that you have really stepped up to the plate. After I left, it makes that transition so much more easy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. So thank you very much, Shelly. So I'd like to now, thank Shelly O'Quinn as our guest today, who's the CEO of the Inland Northwest Community Foundation. As a reminder, a video of today's spotlight can be accessed on our Spokane County homepage and on our Spokane County YouTube channel. I'd also like to remind our audience that Spokane County has a new mobile app, the Spokane County On the Go app. The app can be downloaded for all Apple and Android devices. For more information, visit our webpage at www.spokanecounty.org. I'm Commissioner Mary Kuney. Thank you for joining us today on Spokane County Spotlight. Thank you very much, Shelly. Appreciate it.
Thank you.